Federal lawmakers says it is a day of mourning and sadness as they condemn the worsening security situation in the country, despite efforts by the military and other security agencies to tackle insecurity. Speaker of the House of Representatives Femi Gbajabina during Tuesday's plenary expressed concern over the different dimensions of the security challenges in the country, adding that as a responsive parliament, the House had taken some steps, including holding a special summit on national security to find urgent measures.
Across our country, there has been a marked increase in the incidence and severity of violent outbreaks, kidnapping, banditry, and murder in broad daylight. From Owerri in Imo State to Igongo in Oyo State, from Niger to Kaduna and across the states of the Northeast, we are witnessing bloodshed and violence of the sort usually associated with war. These are trying times for all our nation's people. Families are in mourning, communities are under siege, and even those who have thus far escaped, the direct impact of the escalating violence cannot help but feel as if they are living on borrowed time. We are reminded of the urgent need for coordinated and targeted action by governments at all levels to address the menace and save our nation. 2 weeks ago, the House of Representatives hosted a special summit on national security to harness the views of citizens and stakeholders, experts from within and outside, to define a new strategy for combating the different manifestations of insecurity in our country. The contributions we received from across the country and the recommendations made therein have already begun to inform legislative action in the House of Representatives. Tomorrow, the House will begin consideration of a slate of bills intended to reform our national security statutory framework.
In the last 1 week, about 200 lives have been killed across villages in the northern, eastern, and southern parts of the country. And this is a cause of concern to members of the House of Representatives as they resume plenary. 2 lawmakers also drew attention to the recent killings in the country, which has claimed hundreds of lives through their motion of urgent national importance, urging the Inspector General of Police to fish out and prosecute the perpetrators of killers of Igongo in Oyo State.
Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues, my application before this honorable House is in 2 legs, or in 2 legs. First, I want to seek the leave and indulgence of this House to consider the invasion of Igangan town in the Ibarapa North Local Government in the wee hours of the 5th of June 2021 as one of urgent public importance. Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues, during the unfortunate incident, the palace of Ashiganga, the Oba of the community, was burnt down, was desecrated. Several trucks of vehicles were burnt down, and several other things happened. I also, in the second leg, pray that I be allowed to move the application right away.
I heard that a total number of 130 people were murdered by the government and have since been buried, while people who were injured are still receiving treatment in the neighboring hospitals. The multi-billion naira Ndobasi popular market was raised down, and I wept profusely at sighting the carnage unleashed on my people. Oh, my people, my dear people of Izi. Aside the invasion of a clay ward by the Fulani government, there is ongoing crisis between the Eza and Effiong people, principally in Ulai district of Ado local government of Benue State, which has led to a spiral of killings with thousands rendered homeless, as well as the destruction of property and businesses running into billions of naira in the popular Insecurity market.
In a related development following the recent Igongo tragedy, the Southwest Caucus rose from an emergency meeting with a demand for an end to the killing of its people, urging the federal government to take urgent steps to investigate and prosecute all those involved in the killings of innocent lives in Igongo in Oyo State.
Let the whole world know that we condemn the killings that were done by barbaric, callous invaders, bandits, and suspected armsmen, particularly of Igongo and other parts of the Southwest. we believe that this is not going to be auguring well for anybody if this thing is not stemmed. So therefore, we want them to know that when you come to somebody's home and you attack him and you invade him, you are asking for trouble. So we want them to stop this henceforth. Also, we want them to know that we are here to urge the federal government to immediately put in motion all the necessary things they have to do. Because after God, in any land, the only other power is the executive. We want to feel the impact of this executive.
Also, Rotimi Agunshoye wants more proactive steps from all parties concerned as the House seeks reprieve for victims of Kebbi boat mishap.
The most hated person in the world is the person that speaks the truth. And people will not want to listen to the truth because they do not want their illusion destroyed. Mr. Speaker, dear colleagues, I think enough is enough. We need to address the main issue now. Where are we? The role of government in governance is to protect lives and property of the people and to provide welfare for the people. Mr. Speaker, we have failed woefully in all this. My other colleague there, Sununu, said over 70 people were killed. My dear colleague from Oyo State said over 50 people were killed. Somebody from Imo said their people are being killed. Go to the northeast, north central, northwest, southeast, southwest, south. Our people are being killed. What are we doing in government? It is important we address this, Mr. Speaker.
The recent boat mishap that occurred in water axis of River Niger was a national disaster. The capsized boat was ferrying over 165 people from Lokomina area in Niger State to water town of Kebbi State on Wednesday, 26th of May, 2021. There were only 22 survivors and 98 bodies recovered, with over 45 bodies so far missing. The victims were majority youth and women actively seeking for their means of livelihood. The House also noted that the canoe mishap have been a recurrent happening in the area and Kebbi State in general. For instance, in just 7 months in 2017, from the month of April to October, 33 deaths were recorded from 3 boat mishaps in Yaoundé Emirate, comprising of Ingaski, Shanga, and Yaoundé.
Hello. Reports of the recently concluded National Security Summit of the House is expected to be laid and considered in a few days as lawmakers are hopeful it will provide the panacea for a peaceful country. Anita Patrick, Core TV News, Abuja.